What's good, everyone? Welcome to Together as One with Kinjaz. My name is Josh Brenne. I use he, him pronouns, and I am one of the co-presidents for the Asian Pacific American Student Union. Before we get started, I wanted to take a few moments for some acknowledgements. Although all of you are joining us virtually, we are hosting this from the Asian Pacific Cultural Center at Oregon State University. So OSU in Corvallis, Oregon is located within the traditional homelands of the Marys River or Ampi-Nefu Band of Kalapuya. Following the Willamette Valley Treaty of 1855, Kalapuya people were forcibly removed to reservations in Western Oregon. Today, living descendants of these people are a part of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians. But I'm actually not the MC for this event. So I'd like to introduce you to one of Kinjaz's biggest fans, probably the #1 fan in Oregon, Justin Quinn. Everyone, give him a round of applause.
What's up, y'all? My name is Justin Quinn. I use he, him pronouns. I will be your MC for this evening. Hmong is also my co-MC, but unfortunately, she will not be able to make it tonight. Y'all might be wondering why this event is called Together as One. In the past, APASU has hosted a variety of prominent Asian American figures to perform, but now we've transitioned online due to the pandemic. We realize there are other opportunities to engage with students at OSU. That's why APASU, CSA, Hmong, and VSA have collabed to make this event possible. Under the AAPI umbrella, there are so many rich and diverse cultures and identities, but we are usually just seen as one. We want to use this opportunity to highlight how, although we are different in our experiences, we can come together as one community to support each other. So to give y'all an idea of the plan for tonight, for the first 30 minutes, we'll be featuring some dances and insights from the Cambodian, Hmong, and Vietnamese student leaders from OSU. At around 6:30, we'll be introducing Anthony Lee and Mike Song from the Kinjaz for a keynote presentation. Following that, we'll be going into a facilitated discussion and audience Q&A, where you at home can send in questions for Mike and Anthony. Also, if you want a chance to enter a drawing to win some Kinjabang noodles, which is the exclusive brand of noodles by the Kinjaz, be sure to submit a question to Ask Kinjaz. The winner will be announced at the end of the event. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into our first segment from the Cambodian Student Association. We'll let Ella, CSA's president, help us showcase a couple of Cambodian dances.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Hello, everyone. My name is Ella Svedevent, and I am the current president of the Cambodian Student Association at Oregon State University. CSA OSU strives to create a very welcoming environment for all the members of Oregon State University, and we try to make Cambodian culture accessible to everyone as well. CSA is...
Hey, Ella! What are you doing here? Who are you talking to?
No, I'm talking to the viewers. Remember, we're supposed to teach them some of my social dances?
Oh yeah! Hi everyone! My name is Carrie, and I am the incoming CSA president for 2021 to 2022.
So Carrie, are you ready to teach them some dances?
Yeah, I feel a little nervous. I'm not a dance teacher, you know? How am I supposed to teach other people know how to dance?
You know what, Carrie? It's gonna be fine. You're gonna do good. There's nothing to worry about.
Still, it's hard to not be like a little worried, you know? Weren't you even a little nervous when you had to dance in front of all those people in front of the culture show?
You know what? That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that my social dances are meant to be fun. They're meant to be fun for, everyone, young and old. They all dance these dances at events and weddings. So, you don't have to be some expert to embody that spirit.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And Cambodian dance is definitely something to be proud of. I think the classical dances are really beautiful.
Oh, classical dances? What's that?
Look, it's a traditional dance that was performed to call upon the gods and spirits to express respect to the royal family. Dancers are dressed in beautiful, brightly colored costumes, decked with gold. Their movements are flowing and precise and very focused on posture and silhouette.
Oh, I can see. That is beautiful. But you know, you can't forget about the folk dances here. Look at this. So, you see? They may not be as elegant as classical dances, but they're still just as cool. Theatrical folk dances specifically are much faster paced and inspired by countryside life practices. By watching it, you feel like you have a little taste of the lives of the people who created these dances. You know, it's almost like...
Ella, I hate to interrupt you, but shouldn't we get to showing the viewers about some Khmer social dances?
Yeah, you're right. Sorry for keeping you waiting, everyone. Now, let's see if Kevin and Yvonne are in. Call them.
Hello?
Kevin, where are you guys? You know, we're ready to start.
Wait, this is not Kevin. Why are you calling me? This is Yvonne. Oh, are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. Alright. No problem. Alright. Okay.
You know, never mind. Let's just go. Let's go.
Thanks for watching.
Nice. It's cool to see how CSA is continuing to keep traditions alive through dance. You really love to see that kind of thing. Joining me now is my homie Eric Knopf. Eric is a representative for CSA and is also here with me to assist with the streaming the show to you at home. Eric, will you join me?
Yeah. What's up, Justin?
What's up, Eric? How you doing?
Doing good. You know, the usual, a lot of schoolwork.
Right on. I gotta ask you, Eric, what does Asian American identity mean to you?
Asian American identity. It probably is one of my most heavily influencers of my entire life. It really guides me of what I want to do in my day-to-day basis and what my life goals and everything. I think it's just it's really the backbone of what really makes me me.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear. Next up, we got a segment with the Hmong Student Association.
Welcome to Hmong OSU Sports. My name is Susie Chaw, and I will be your news anchor for today. Let's go over some highlights from this past week, shall we? On Monday, the men's basketball team, the Noonbly Warriors, took on the Striped Tigers and won with a 50-point lead. This is the first time in Hmong basketball history where a team held a 50-point lead throughout the second half. On Thursday, the Dragons Thulu team fought hard against the Monkeys and lost. These two teams have been rivals since the start of Hmong OSU sports. This past weekend, Team O took part in the TNHBB Jining Hmong Volleyball Championships, coming out victorious after an extremely close game against the Leopards. The star that led his team to victory was none other than William Yang. Not only is he a star left wing hitter, he excels at setting and receiving. Lucky for us, we managed to get an exclusive interview with William Yang today. Hi, Will. How have you been?
Oh, hi, Susie. I've been chilling ever since we won the champions last weekend.
That's great. You guys did an amazing job. I especially saw how you bicycle kicked the ball and won the game for you guys. Many people say that was pure luck. Can you tell me what really happened?
You know, what can I say? People can believe what they want, but I saw the ball and I went straight for it.
It was an amazing feat. You have been accomplishing a lot lately. Tell me, when did you start playing volleyball?
I started at a very young age, like maybe when I was around 7. But yeah, my parents played a lot when they came to the US with my aunts and uncles. It was a very similar game to a game they played in Laos. But even today, when we hold celebrations and everything, we always try to play another game or play a game.
It seems like you grew up in tune with your Hmong identity. What was your experience as a Hmong American?
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, my experience as a Hmong American has always been me trying to find who I was and being proud of it. Growing up in a majority Caucasian neighborhood, I was always stunted on how different my culture was versus culture at school or culture, outside. And I remember one very specific time where I was so ashamed of bringing my own food to school that I told my mom to stop packing me lunch. But, coming to OSU and interacting with a lot of different people and understanding their cultures, they showed me that I can appreciate my own culture and be proud of it.
Yeah, I'm sure many young adults of different ethnic backgrounds are dealing with the same thing. Nowadays, we tend to stray away from our culture and really know who we are. Gratefully, we have many people we can look up to, like you and many others, to love our culture and what we represent. Thank you for your time today, Will. We will catch you next time.
All right, thanks for having me.
In addition to Will's experience as a Hmong American, I would like to address that though we Hmong people are assimilating to American society, we may also end up losing our culture in the process, starting with our language. The percentage of Hmong speakers has been on a decline, and many children are unable to communicate with their elderly folks. As a result, young adults are unable to learn and carry on our Hmong traditions. I hope we can end this decline and actively learn and practice our language and culture for the sake of future generations. That is all we have today, folks. I am Susie Cha, and thank you for tuning in to Hmong OSU Sports.
Sick. Oh, Will, is that you? Susie, what's up?
Nothing much.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. You touched on it a bit in the video, but I gotta ask you, what does the Asian American identity mean to you?
Well, to me, the Hmong American identity involves everything from our clothing, our culture, ritual, traditions, and the events we hold every year for Hmong New Year. So my parents raised me with these traditions, and so they've shaped me to be the person I am today. And I can proudly say I'm proud to be a Hmong American.
Awesome. That's a beautiful thing. Next up for y'all, we got VSA segment. So let's get into it.
Hello, everyone. We are from the Vietnamese Student Association here at OSU. My name is Lynn Carson, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm this year's Campus Outreach Coordinator.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Nguyen. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm this year's Media Marketing Coordinator.
The Vietnamese Student Association is to promote the Vietnamese culture, educate fellow peers, and create a diverse environment. As an organization, we aim to learn from one another and gain a better understanding of what it's like to be Vietnamese or Asian American today. You do not have to be Vietnamese to join. If you'd like to learn more about VSA, please check us out on Facebook or Instagram at VSA at OSU.
Today, we are going to show you all clips from our 2020 culture show. As we had to cancel our 2020 culture show, this will be our first time sharing these dances to the public. Our 4 dances are fan dance, umbrella dance, modern dance, and a pairs dance. All of these dances were choreographed by our very own members. Thank you for listening to our segment.
We hope you enjoy our segment.
chân mình vẫn vừa tình yêu là số mất cuốn đi hết muộn phiền âu lo sống vô tư cho đời ta vô thường đâu cần một bãi cát tình yêu cho đời ta thêm đắm say đâu cần một bãi cát tình yêu cho lòng ta thêm ngất ngây chỉ cần mình cạnh nhau phút giây nhìn về phía chân trời khoái xa nơi ánh ban mai vang tên ta dịu dàng.
Come on, my lady, let's rumba. Ey, dường như tâm hồn hai ta đang đồng điệu ngay lúc này. Từng bước chân nơi thời nhẹ lướt nhịp nhàng trong phút giây. Từng đang ngấm đôi cơ thể hòa quyện cùng tiếng nhạc còn chất bay. Như thở nặng trầm, cứ từng phút lấy. Ly sâm banh đã cạn dần, ánh mắt chạm thật lâu. Khẽ đưa môi tìm lấy nhau, thế này you are mine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 đưa đôi chân ra đôi tay đeo mây đắm say và muốn quay nơi đây. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cho đêm nay vui như không có ngày mai. Tiếng đàn nào bật to hết lên cho đam mê ta quên giúp cho những thời gian ngày còn đến để anh xóa hết những sai lầm đi.
Sick. I really like that performance. Joining me now is Lynn Carson, who is here as a representative from BSA. Hey Lynn, how you doing?
Good. Hi, everybody.
What was it like for you working on the culture show?
Yeah, so this is actually the first culture show I got to participate in, and it was really cool and to be able to collaborate with fellow students while also learning more about the Vietnamese culture. It was also the first time I had gotten to use do a fan dance as well.
Okay.
I know you you choreographed some of that modern dance. What was it like doing that?
It was fun, yeah. That was the very first time I'd ever gotten a role to do some choreography. I think it was with a really good group of people, and yeah, it's just cool that all those guys were down to just try anything. So thanks for sharing, Lynn.
Yes. Bye.
All right. Now I'd like to introduce our special guest for tonight. You may have seen them on America's Best Dance Crew, World of Dance, and maybe even JK News. Or maybe you may be familiar with their work with League of Legends, KDA, and Jackson Wang. Everybody, please help me welcome Anthony and Mike Song.
What up, everybody?
Oh, snap. What's up?
What's up? What's good, guys?
Digital space. What's up?
Yo, thank you all so much for inviting us. How you doing? How you feeling right now, Justin?
Dude, to be honest, I feel so stoked to have you guys here with us tonight. Very excited. What do y'all have planned for us tonight?
Well, we're just gonna start off just for any of y'all who might not know who we are or anything like that. We're gonna give you guys a little bit of context, if that's cool with y'all.
Yeah.
Real quick. We're gonna do a quick applause for all those like videos and performances we just saw from like everybody who was dancing and just like sharing stuff, because
saw some tuds.
Yeah.
Saw some tuds.
That was fun. That was fun for us. That's you know, that's where
Yeah.
I started and stuff. So just seeing that stuff was really, really cool. So just shout out and props. Okay, now we can get into us and all that random stuff.
Yeah, honestly, the video is we just happened to already have this video from another presentation we did actually. But it's if you guys don't know, like we have a dance company called the Kinjaz, and we don't just do like performances, we like choreograph for other artists as well, but we also have a clothing line, and we have some studios in the US and in China. So we kind of do like a little bit of we have our hands in a lot of other ventures. So it's just a little bit of content so you guys get a feel of what we do. So I'm gonna share my screen.
Do we share screen or do they play the video?
Nah, they asked you to share the screen.
We're gonna shut. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up right now.
Open system preferences. Okay, I got a grant access. Boom.
You gotta click this first.
Okay.
You can't see it on our side of what's happening.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being patient. Technology. Yep. Oh, I gotta quit and reopen.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, we're gonna come right back.
Right back.
All right, Justin's gonna entertain you guys.
Peace out.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
End the meeting for us. Oh shit.
Wait, assign and leave. Okay, I'm gonna sign Justin as a host.
Yeah, they made us.
All right, that was a bit of an unexpected technical difficulty, but Kinjaz should be back shortly, and then I think they got a segment for y'all. Just to remind y'all what's happening in terms of the plan for tonight. I believe Kinjaz has a keynote presentation to present to y'all, and then that's in addition to the clip they were mentioning. And then following that will be the Q&A, where you viewers at home will be able to ask questions to Kinjaz. So if you happen to have questions, just remember, if you're in Zoom, if you want your question to be prioritized, you'll use the raise hand feature. You can either type up your questions and I can read them out, or if we call on you, then we can unmute you and you can ask your question then. But for now, we're just chilling, waiting for Kinjaz. Hey guys, I'm definitely nervous to be having this opportunity to be MC, just because, as Josh mentioned earlier in the meeting or the event, I'm a big fan. And
all right, we back, y'all. Hey,
no, we're not back. Keep spilling your heart to us, man.
oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Just yeah. Are we all ready?
Yeah, we ready. Thank
I think
you for
we're ready.
holding down. Thank you. For
Oh
holding
yeah,
down.
do your thing. Let's get into it.
Technical difficulties almost.
All right, here we go.
Somebody entered the waiting room. Do we admit them? We don't. Do you guys like Henry Nguyen, or should we just like decline his request?
I think we'll get him in here too.
I'll let him in. All right, cool. Just want to make sure. You know what I mean?
All right. So now boom. Share sound. Yep. Okay. Boom.
All right, don't
Here
share
we go.
the wrong window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be in trouble.
Okay. Boom. All right. Here we go. Going for that full screen.
Everybody see this? I hope the lag's not bad. If it is, sorry.
All right, y'all.
We should mute ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Wait.
All right. 3, 2, 7, 6, 1.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching that with us. That's just our little intro video, so you have some context as to what we do.
That got me hyped.
Hey, yo.
Hiring our own supply.
So anyways, can you guys hear us?
Yeah,
can I good? Is everybody? Okay, cool. So we figure we take this time to kind of like share a little bit about our story, go on a little bit of a journey through time, and ultimately, if any of our like experiences can inspire anything for y'all, we just want to share because we've been through a lot together. Actually, me and Ant we first met actually at freshman orientation at UC Irvine in Orange County. But before we even get to that, I'm gonna popcorn you and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh snap! Hey, real quick, you don't have to, no pressure, but like, who's down to like turn on their cameras so it feels like we're like talking to other human beings? You can keep yourself muted. I'm just wondering if y'all could like turn on your cameras or something. I'm looking at a bunch of thumbnails and random Asian like names I might not be able to pronounce correctly. But I mean, it's fine if you don't. I'm just gonna pressure everybody for the next like 6 seconds. If it doesn't happen, oh, you can't? Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna shut up then and eat my words. Oh, wow, we're hosts. We can technically turn on your camera for you and force you all to be a part of it. Okay, we're not gonna do that. All right, either way, it looks like you can still emote and put up thumbs ups and downs and whatnot. So we just wanna feel like we're like connecting with human beings and stuff like that because, you know, there it is. Thank you. Thank you for your emotions, the hearts, the party, trumpets, the crying faces, whatever it is. Thank you. We appreciate it. Oh, yes, this is very helpful. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so the popcorn is on me. I'm going to talk about myself real quick. My name is Anthony. Like Mike said, we met in college and whatnot. For those of you who know me, you probably know me from things like dancing with the Kinjaz and or maybe speaking on, JK News and whatnot. I think the fun stuff to know is that I'm a California native. I actually started dancing in college. I started when I was 18. I was like really embarrassed to try dancing in high school because not a lot of guys did, and it was kind of weird and embarrassing at the time. But when I went to college, I saw a bunch of like just a huge and beautiful and amazing dance community and scene. And that's also where I met Mike Song. We can get into that later. But since then, right after college, I graduated with a film and media studies bachelor's degree, and did not even go into dancing right away. That was kind of a side thing. Decided to go into things like sales, customer tech support for an internet telephony company, to operations and marketing director for a clothing company before I finally went into the dance game. And we'll dive into that later because that's fun. Ultimately, nowadays, I think the things that, some of you guys, like I mentioned, have seen is I like to do a lot of stuff with my homies on JK News. But the thing I'm most proud to be a part of is our squad, the Kinjaz. Hey, yo. It's our baby. It's our pride and joy. We were fortunate enough to, through our lives, meet a band of brothers and now even sisters that we've, at the end of the day, we just want to share life with. We want to venture into our true, authentic life curiosities with and find success in it. Dancing has been a beautiful vehicle for me. It's brought me to be able to choreograph for a lot of different artists. I think, Justin mentioned earlier, people like Jackson Wang, or, a lot of different Chinese artists, a lot of different K-pop artists, C-pop, J-pop, all of them. We get a chance to work with a lot of them. Choreography is a huge and fun thing that we do, but at the end of the day, we just want to share great life experiences with each other. So that's a little bit about me. We can get into that later, but popcorn Mike, so he can do the ditty, do the doohickey.
All right, I'm gonna get down with the doohickey. I'm gonna actually, I'll just kind of intro a little bit about all the way up until when I met Anthony when we were 18 at our freshman orientation. I'm originally from California as well. I'm from South Bay, Torrance, and I'm Korean. Grew up in that. My parents are very Korean. I got 2 siblings. But I started dancing actually in middle school. I had a Bible study teacher that had the sickest glides. And then from there, kind of just spiraled into getting really interested in dance. I had to convince my parents to let me quit tennis. I used to play tennis. I was on the tennis team. I was going to put it on my college application. That was part of the plan. But once I got really into dance, made a deal with my parents to basically quit all my sports and just get into dance and practice with my homies in the garage. And then I went to UC Irvine, and then this is kind of where me and Anthony's journey began. Basically at freshman orientation, there was a dance. We met on the dance floor. We actually kind of battled. Just a funny story.
Kind of. Keyword kind of.
Kind of battled. And then after that, we were roommates all 4 years, our last 3 years of college. And then from there, what is the timeline of this? We started crew. I'm going to kind of fast forward a little bit. We started Kinjaz. We were all part of the choreography competition scene where everyone would compete against each other. So everybody was like a bunch of different rivals almost. And
he was on Cabo Modern, for those of y'all remember. I was on a dance team called CADC, which were crosstown rivals in Irvine, at competitions like Vibe or Body Rock or Busted Groove at the time, Ultimate Brawl, whatever it might be. If you have heard of these things, go ahead.
Yeah, the SoCal choreography collegiate scene is I'm sure you guys have all seen it, or maybe not actually, but it's 30 to 50 people dance crews. They usually stem from the Asian American student organizations at that respective college. I was a part of the Filipino one. He was a part of the Chinese one. And even though we lived together, we directed the different teams. And then basically the beginning of Kinjaz really came very innocently. When we actually got a bunch of different directors and guys we competed against at different colleges to all do a project together. So basically it was just a super fun project where I say super fun because we weren't trying to compete or anything like that. And our bucket list, or we made a bucket list for this performance because we weren't trying to kill it. We actually were just let's just have a bunch of amazing life experiences. And that'll be our priority for this performance. So we made a list. We didn't even think about choreographing yet. we literally like, what are all the things we've always wanted to do on stage, right? So we literally wrote down, all right, we need to get all our homies in for free that do not dance. So that was one of our things. So we like put them on our roster and just dressed them up in costume, and they just stood in the back. And then we're like, all right, we've always wanted to drink on stage. And so we took shots during our performance. We're like, that's just something we always wanted to do. We just made this whole list. We recorded our voices and we just talked the whole time in our set because we're like, that'd be kind of funny.
The shots was a terrible idea because like when you're like dancing full out, you start dry heaving because there's no chaser. It was really bad, but continue.
And so, yeah, it was literally just a bunch of bucket list fun. We're just having fun with a bunch of guys we used to compete against. And then we ended up getting a standing ovation. And when we got a standing ovation, that kind of like blew our minds because we were like, holy shit, like we were not expecting this at all. And this was just like, I guess, a result of us being like, yo, what are the things we want to do in general? And like, that's what the priority is, just like following the things that we're most curious about, you know what I mean? So Anthony actually quit his sales job that he was just talking about. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, 4 days later. That performance was supposed to be my retirement from the dance community, like for real, hanging up my dance shoes and moving out of state. But once we had like the illest like night ever for like no reason, you know, everybody just loved like, I guess, being attracted to authenticity. I don't know. I just got so confused with why I was like chasing the paper and like moving away from everything I love to do something that I didn't love, you know what I mean? Realistically, something I hated. So I got into one argument with my boss that week. And then that Thursday I walked out. There was no 2-week notice. It was just like I'm over this. And I said, peace out. And, you know, I'm so glad I did because that let me keep my dance shoes on, you know?
And so we ended up, once Anthony quit his job, we ended up kind of going on our individual career paths as choreographers. My last year of college, I was on the first season of America's Best Dance Crew. And really what that ended up doing was like, this is kind of a crazy time for even, honestly, I would say like Asian Americans even at that time. I remember that there were like, I was on a crew called Cabo Modern back in the day, along with Jabberwockies. We were both in the finals of season 1. And we heard that like producers at MTV, it was kind of a new thing, believe it or not, to have so many Asians on TV. And the producers on that MTV show were like, yo, like Asians are not cute. Like it's literally a quote from like some of the MTV producers during the first season of ABDC. But it was this new thing. A lot of things were changing at that time. But my point is, as far in relation to like our journey, is that kind of put, I was already beginning my like professional dance career at that time. I think I was fortunate with like a lot of timing, and also was traveling internationally and began his professional career. And then once we were doing that individually again, in 2014, Kinjaz was going from 2010 all the way to 2014, right? This is after college, right? And then in 2014, Kinjaz was just kind of an idea, but we were still individually doing our careers, right?
Kinjaz was almost our joke outlet, because like when we were talking about our dance careers, everything always had to be very professional and serious, whether it be our choreography, our teaching, you know, our traveling and our performances. Everything was always like, you know, you got to represent your art in like a professional capacity. But every single time we brought it back to Kinjaz and got on stage with the homies, we kind of like, we're like, we don't have to be that professional person. So we would always be like, hey, let's just have fun. Let's just do dance in the fun way, or let's just do what we want. And the ironic thing was people love that sometimes more than just like kind of our individual professionalism. So that's kind of what he means when 2010 and 2014 was a little bit of we didn't take it like seriously, but it was like probably the best thing we could have done.
And then in 2014, we ended up taking a road trip. 2014, we basically came to a realization. We're like, hey, what if we came together and we created something together? We had already been doing it professionally, like individually, almost just like in college where we were directing different teams. Same thing. We're like, we're doing the same profession, but we do it like not with each other. We're like, what would happen if we actually created a company together? And so we're like, yeah, we have Kinjaz. We have this like crew that's just fun and games right now. Like, what would happen if we really took this seriously? So We, along with John Shi, who was the media director of a company called World of Dance at the time, he was shooting a bunch of our videos. We basically convinced him to leave World of Dance, and we said, hey, let's build Kinjaz together. And so we were booked to do a workshop in New York, but instead of them flying us back home to LA, we said, just give us the money and we're going to rent a minivan. And we took a road trip for a month from New York to LA to basically just refresh on life and really kind of reset before we embark on like committing to this bigger picture of building Kinjaz as a group, as a company, as an idea, beyond anything by ourselves. And so, we took that road trip from New York to LA. We zigzagged across. So we went to like Florida, we went to Disney World in Florida. We had to hit up Mount Rushmore. We had to hit obviously went to Texas.
We went to Mount Rushmore from New Orleans. It was like not practical at all. We took like a 17.5-hour drive. And y'all, if y'all been to Mount Rushmore, that shit is so underwhelming. Straight up. It's like way bigger in like your textbooks. It's like not even worth it almost. It's just like this. Anyways, point is, we did an impractical approach because we just wanted to check off the bucket list of what it meant to be an American. I know we're going to get to like Asian American later, but like sometimes it's even about figuring out what it means to even be American. So like, I think that kind of reset for ourselves was a little bit of also just kind of like checking something off the bucket list to understand something a little bit about like the world we live in.
And so like on that, once we finished that road trip, in short, that kind of, it reset our compass as far as like how we want to even live our lives and not just run our business. And really like this common thing we keep coming back to is just leading our lives with curiosity. I think sometimes we get caught up on the idea of like, this is my passion or this is what I'm good at. And then you're constantly searching for that. And sometimes you have like ebbs and flows, right, with that. But when you just ask yourself, like, what am I most curious about? Like that is a compass that like you can commit to because you're genuinely like, I want to know more about that. I want to learn more about that, or I want to practice that. I want to get better at that. And so for us, after going on this road trip, it kind of made us realize like, okay, we also like our backgrounds, like Anthony's like full super Eagle Scout. I was like a Bible study teacher, retreat counselor. We both were like volunteers for our freshman orientation program. So we were very, I would say we loved organizing like events and like groups. And so even the way that we constructed our group with Kinjaz, we kind of put more love into not just creating as a company, but also like the culture within Kinjaz. Like we go on retreats, we have banquets, and it's really just like, what kind of life experiences do we want to have for the rest of our life? We don't want to just, it's just in college where you have your end of the year banquets or your showcases and then it's over, right? Like for us, it's like, we have the ability to do it. You just have to create those, just got to organize it straight up along with your friends. So that's like the other side of Kinjaz beyond this idea of like this dance company and group choreographers and media company. On the back end, like there's actually over 40 Kinjaz. There's over 40 members, but like when I say that there's going to be like a retreat or a barbecue, that's when you'll really see everybody. But as far as like the company and the full time, it's like
main dancers that people might see on YouTube or on a project or something like that. There's only a handful.
Yeah. And so that's kind of in a nutshell, like this idea of like us creating Kinjaz. We went on this road trip and then leading with just, hey, let's just live our lives like and prioritize experiences with friends beyond just like, I want to kill it on my own. Rather than that, like a big compass for us was this idea of like, leaving a legacy that lives on posthumously. And for us, it was also surrounded by the idea of like, what we can do together, we feel like is so much more powerful than just if we were to go and teach and continue on our journeys by ourselves. And not that's like one aspect of it. Like if we have these pillars of like Kinjaz, one is like this posthumous legacy. But then the other is like the experiences together. We also know that like life is going to have successes and life is going to have challenges. That's inevitable. But having successes alongside your friends or your loved ones, or going through challenges alongside your friends or loved ones, is so much more meaningful and so much more powerful, and just like more fun in life in general, than even winning by yourself or obviously struggling by yourself. And so that's kind of, I guess, another compass that we have in making decisions with Kinjaz and just like how we want to navigate the rest of our journey. And so really like for us, it's really important for us that like the people that we collaborate with, these artists we choreograph with, when even Anthony's like choreographing for Jackson Wang, like there's like these are the homies. These are like people that we're like developing like just real bonds with, because these are the kind of people like if we don't really want to connect with you, then like you are in control realistically of like who you spend your time with and who you want to just connect with, right? And so when that's like a random example like a Jackson Wang, but like even with all of the work that we do in China and the studios that we do opened in China, that really came from like just making really good friends out there, believe it or not. For us, at least, it's not about we should strike this deal in China because we could make this money like this, etc. It really just came from making like a really good friendship in China, and then just being driven together. And that's kind of this common theme of like these deep friendships that like blossom into these other companies and endeavors, right? And so where we're at right now, just to be like so real with y'all, one of like the last things that happened to us, like challenges wise, is that like we had 2 studios in LA, and during the pandemic, we closed down both studios. And that was like really tough for us, right? But the reason why I'm sharing that is that like in this theme of like having these deep friendships that blossom into these new endeavors, when we realized that like the dance industry was getting so affected by COVID, we had this longtime friend who actually we had always talked about collaborating on some sort of food product. And if you guys know us, like we love noodles. Like I love ramen. Aunt loves pho. And so it was always on our bucket list to open up some sort of the long-term list was like a ramen shop, pho shop. But it really turned into like, hey, during this pandemic, like where can we go? It opened up this opportunity to create this plant-based instant noodles through our company. And so that's what Kinjaz noodles is, in case any of you guys don't know what that is. We have a plant-based instant noodle, a little bit spicy. But that is like the silver lining that we found through, again, these like challenges that happened to all of us during the pandemic. And from closing down these 2 studios, what we realized is like, it's like our bonds and our friendship back in the day that really led to us just figuring out like, how can we make it work? And also just following that curiosity, right? Like we always had this curiosity with noodles, but there's no way we would have made this noodle product if we weren't challenged in the way that we were last year. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but
no, realistically, Kinjaz in a nutshell, you know what I mean? And what we're just excited to be able to come here and share with everybody at the end of the day is that like Mike said, life is going to be both beautiful and terrifying. Nobody can really avoid that, and nobody can predict the way that it comes about. But I think that if you surround yourself with the people that you really care about and love, and they care about you as well, then the challenges will be bearable, and the successes will be way more everlasting and joyous. And your ability to adapt and recognize those things are the things that are going to bring joy to your life. So success is a construct in your mind, but at the end of the day, if you want to have just joy, we found it by just following our curiosity and authenticity, and using the power of childlike wonder to kind of help us navigate through the complexities of adult life, I guess you could say.
Well said, man.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like our story in a nutshell. I'm gonna pass the popcorn back to Justin, because I feel like we are just in time for the next.
Yeah, we're trying to squeeze our life story into like 20 minutes. So that was the best we could do.
No, yeah, that was great, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. It's cool because obviously I've had bits and pieces of your origin story, and it's cool to kind of see a new, fresh perspective on it. I'm sorry to hear about your studios you had to close down, but also excited for y'all that you're able to transition into Kinjaz noodles as a company noodle brand. So now that we've heard a bit of your story, I want to transition a little bit into sort of a facilitated like question and answer with y'all, if you're cool with that. And for the viewers at home, I just want to mention that if you have a question to ask for Kinjaz and you've RSVP'd, submit a question, and every question you ask counts as an entry to win a raffle at the end to win Kinjaz noodles, as Mike mentioned earlier. Yeah, so ask your questions, submit those, and we'll announce the winner at the end of the event.
No stupid questions. All right.
No stupid questions. So
I'm just kidding. We'll tell you the stupid.
So I'll just jump right in. I got some questions for y'all. So you might have touched on it a little bit, sort of like how you went through college, but then you found dance. But what I'm curious about is growing up Asian American, what did your folks think about y'all going into the dance industry?
I'll let you answer this. My mom hated it. Like, my dad he just loved it, so he didn't say anything, even though he's like, a smart guy. But I actually had maybe this period of time, I think starting 2011 is when I got out of my marketing job for this clothing brand. And at this time, Mike was one of the few Asians in the whole freaking world, post ABDC season 1 that was going out there and representing as an individual, like dance in like literally obscure places of the world, even going to Europe a lot and teaching and being on these flyers for his dance classes. And it didn't say things like, usher dancer or, credits of like well-known pop figures. And then that was like your dance credibility. It was literally saying things like Mike's song, Cobb Modern, and, be like his class and stuff. So I think we were in just like a really, really unique time frame to be able to represent. So seeing somebody like that, I was like, yo, maybe I have a chance. I had a lot of inspiration, and obviously, is my best bud. So like, it was a lot more clear, but I asked him for help, and I was like, yo, man, you think I could do it? And he's like, yeah. I was like, can you help me? He's like, yeah. So let me take that leap of faith. So I think I had, something really unique at that time that gave me that confidence. And ironically, I was also met with kind of the other side of that conversation, which was people like my mom, who's just every single time I called, every single time I visited home, she was asking me, you still doing that? Like, you should quit. It's not going to be good for you. Like, I got a friend who's looking for this shitty ass job. Maybe you should do that because it's not dancing. Like, and it actually put like a really huge, just kind of wedge in the energy of my relationship with my parents. Like, I didn't want to call anymore. I didn't want to visit because I knew what I was passionate about. I knew what was possible. I had it in front of me. You know what I mean? This was a unique thing to like believe in. And I saw it happening. So it wasn't just some like child's dream, but at the same time, I was met with a lot of just that traditional, like, I'm sure the energy came from like imagine the sacrifices. Like, my parents are, I'm Chinese and my parents are Chinese, but they grew up in Vietnam. And they came in over here from the war and things that they had to go through and the stories that they share with me. I can understand why it seems ridiculous to like go through everything that you did and sacrifice and work tirelessly to give your children an opportunity life. And then they're like, yo, forget this college degree. I'm gonna go dance. I could now, as I'm older, I'm like, I get you. I get how frustrating that was, but I was just so passionate about it. So, for me, it made me just want to prove my worth even more. And in that interim, unfortunately, I had to distance myself from the energy that I guess I felt was like kind of like pulling me down. but at the same time, it gave me fuel because I'm just a natural rebel that wanted to just prove, my mom wrong. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out because I can't have you talking junk to me because I know this is possible. I see it in my circle. And it wasn't until, my first gig on TV, it was Macy's Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. We did this gig for Dancing with the Stars. We was the Umbras for LXD. We had to wear these like bowler hats and these umbrellas. I shit you not, you probably maybe saw our group for like 3 seconds of the whole performance and you couldn't even tell who was who. That was the whole point, to look like a group entity. But of course, even though I couldn't even find myself in the damn performance, it was still something relatable to my basic ass mom. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm going to be on prime time television. And immediately, suddenly she's like telling all of her sisters and her cousins and all their children and stuff. Next thing you know, there's like Mike said, I was a Boy Scout. So, at the scout meeting and stuff like that, all these kids are suddenly like, hey, is Anthony coming out to the meeting? And my mom suddenly would turn her tune like, oh yeah, that's my boy. You know what I mean? And just the tables turned once I had something that was, I guess, of value. But that ironically was actually a really, really important thing for me to kind of like cross on, because it was met with a lot of friction, but it in turn gave me a lot of fuel and resolve. But I mean, I don't know if everybody would have that same energy, but like I said, I had a direct example in my close circle. So I was like, I can believe in this. And I just wanted to do it and prove her wrong. And kind of did, sort of. Maybe close 2 studios this year, but fuck it,
Thank you for sharing all that. That's cool because I think a lot of Asian Americans growing up, obviously, I think their parents in some way or another sort of pressure to go into something sort of like quote unquote stable, you know what I mean? And I'm sure like our parents have a lot of similarities in the struggles they went through to, sacrifice to.
And they're not, the crazy thing is they're not wrong. It's just, it's so difficult to make a confident decision on something you care about so much when you don't have when there's a lack of knowledge, or like we're in extremely volatile and changing times all the time, right? Like there's an exponential increase in our understanding, whether it be like the technological industry or whatever, or social media or the internet. Like the world changes so quickly nowadays that it's kind of like being able to understand from their perspective the things of value, and being able to relate it to yourself authentically. That in and of itself is the journey. You know what I'm saying? So I think my younger self doing these college conversations and stuff like that would always be like, my mom's crazy. But it's actually, as I get older, that I recognize the extreme difficulty in trying to understand and bridge the lifestyle experience, you know what I mean? Because my parents' experience, all of your parents' experiences, I'm sure most of you, like your parents immigrated here. That's like a one-of-one experience. We'll never understand it. And those of you who were born here and our first generation, that's a one-of-one experience. And our parents will never understand that, you know what I'm saying? So as we get older, just trying to understand each other will just be its own unique journey. So like I said, it's not that it's wrong. It's just a matter of like really figuring out what the hell life is,
No doubt. That's what it's all about. And luckily, I'm glad for you that it was able to, have Mike in your circle and able to prove to yourself and your family around you. Let me ask you guys another question. At this point, am I asking questions in chat?
At 7:10.
Okay. So my next question I got for y'all is, what was the most rewarding moment in being Kinjaz?
I wouldn't say that. I'm choosing not to say there's one most rewarding moment, but I would say Kinjaz is this unique organism where, aside from this like multifaceted company that we've built, at the end of the day, it's still this like very experiential organization, experiential focused organization. And so to be honest, I would say it's like a lot of the times that we host banquets or we host retreats because as I'm sure many of you could relate, think about like your student associations or your clubs, like end of the year banquet, or that moment where everyone has a chance to kind of like share their truth or their gratitude, or that like, hey, you killed it when you did this, or you know what I mean? And it's those moments of like recognition that we find that is especially as adults, right? Like when you leave college and you go into the real world, it becomes more rare to have these kinds of I guess opportunities to feel so much recognition and also want to give so much recognition, right? It means you want to like really care about the people you're surrounding yourself with. And so I guess this is my way of saying like the most rewarding moment really comes from these moments of like slowing down for a bit. It's not like this gig or this opportunity or this job or meeting this celebrity. It's really like these moments where at our end of the year banquets, like we'll have awards and we come up with like this little voting system, and we have like the Respect All Fear None Award, which is just this all around award. And we have this Movement in the Shadows Award, which is like the person that does so much behind the scenes that doesn't like get maybe like that shine, or maybe you guys don't see them on, you know, YouTube or Instagram, but it's the person that really puts in work that nobody else sees. Or we have a lot of awards.
We had this old award called Crown of the Year, and it was a toilet, right? It was like this bronze toilet, and we would give it to the person who got so trashed that year that they just embarrassed everybody, and like you had to like take care of them and stuff. And like we just wanted people to remember, hey, you fucked up the most this year. So and the whole thing was you never want to get it 2 times wrong because it's super embarrassing. But it obviously was so embarrassing that we like took it away for like a year or two. And then suddenly people were like, hey, that was funny. You should bring it back. So just want to throw that out there.
And honestly, even moments like that, like those are so good because, you know, everyone unanimously voted as the toilet crown of the year.
Unanimous. It'd be crazy.
Like these are just examples of like, man, we really look forward to our banquets because it's not about just like our experience. I think also like as leaders within the organization, and as I'm sure some of the leaders of this organization or your respective organizations, you know that like when you see others in the group kind of like growing as leaders, or even like seeing them experience certain things, like as the years go by, even our experience of Kinjaz is evolving as well. And so I think it's just like this family tree that we're continuing to like grow and water, and I think the evolution of it is very rewarding.
And to add to that too, in like hella group settings, it's not the highs that bring you really, really close. You can have literally like the illest celebrations, the most amazing things happen to you, and yes, those are phenomenal. That's what we always dream for. But it's ironically the most difficult times that you share with people that you still survive through that bring you way closer. So it's actually the things that are undocumented, the moments that we have like bring it in circles where like somebody is like expressing vulnerability or tragedy in their own lifestyle, and the moments where we literally break down, we share tears with each other. You know what I mean? Like those end up actually being some of the most powerful and memorable moments that we'll ever have, that have nothing to do with what anybody will ever see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess if the older you get, the more you recognize, you know, the beauty and the tragedy in that sense. So those are some of our most really memorable ones that we will never tell anybody about.
All right, thank y'all for sharing. Yeah, that's really cool. Maybe not what I had expected, but you know, going into it makes sense that you have this crew, and when you're able to slow things down, you're able to appreciate those moments a lot more. You briefly touched on movement in the shadows and some of those sort of like Kinjaz logos or slogans. Do y'all mind going more into sort of how that Kinjaz mentality is created and how you express it and share it to the world?
I mean, I'll share one of them. Like we already said, respect all. Our mantras, the ones that we say a lot nowadays, are respect all, fear none, movement in the shadows, and kin at all costs. I'll go into kin at all costs actually. It began as brotherhood at all costs actually, and Kinjaz as a group, and this is a whole nother conversation. Ultimately, we were like a bunch of college boys who started this dance group, and we didn't know where it was going to lead. Again, we just led with curiosity and just went for it. And so our mantra always was like, no matter what, like heavy communication, like brotherhood at all costs, like organizing and keeping a group together, especially a group of creatives, of young creatives, is like very challenging.
Egos, y'all.
Ourselves included.
I got the biggest ego on the block.
But it's like obviously through maybe not obviously, but through the years, we've also now there's like females in our organization, and we've had to evolve this idea of like brotherhood was perhaps this younger era of us. And so we changed it to kin at all costs. And the reason why we chose kin is not just for family, and obviously Kinjaz having the word kin in it, but I think there's this idea of like winning at all costs, right? And there's the mentality of win at all costs. It's we want to always center ourselves, and sometimes it's hard to do because sometimes it's easier to just want to not do it together. And this idea of kin at all costs is really just no matter what, like figuring out a way to do it together, figuring out a way to care about like the well-being of our peers and our relationships and preserving those relationships. And yeah, that's really the DNA of kin at all costs.
And that stuff, the depth of it goes into such a variety of ways. And I love kin at all costs because like we're artists, so we're extremely sensitive human beings, right? We get really affected by things. We're emotive. We're empathetic in a lot of different ways, and we have to be emotive because we're using our whatever technique and talents to try and express ourselves, right? So with that kind of like hypersensitivity, I guess you can say, there's always ups and downs in life. That's a regular thing. And there's times where, like, for example, I found myself at like very emotionally low moments as well. And you know, not because of one or two particular things, but it's just a natural occurrence of life. I'm sure everybody here that's in this group can relate to feeling emotionally down or low at certain points, or high, you know what I mean? Like there are times in lives, but the moments or the things that got me out of like those tough times or those emotional lows was sometimes, if I didn't have faith in myself, I would at least be able to look at the people around me that I consider kin. And if I looked at the people that were closest to me, I'm like, well, that's a great human being, or like, that's a really amazing person, or like, that's a good person. Like, I know I'm surrounded by good people, so I must not be a terrible person. It was actually the people that I surrounded with myself with that were able to uplift my own being in those difficult times. And that's why we put such a huge value on kin, because you know, you hear all the memes and the cliches about like, you know, the people that you surround yourself with are the ones who really are a reflection of like who you are. So once you actually think about that and you're like super proud to call the people who are around you kin, it actually makes your own being and your own existence, you know, and travel through life just, I don't know, more confident and just something more beautiful and valuable.
Yeah,
a little bit of self-worth there.
It sounds like you've got some really good people on your squad. I think it seems like now is the time that we will transition into questions from our viewers. So
And by the way, thank y'all for turning on your cameras. This is like way more interactive now that we can like see people and stuff. And
true.
Some of you guys are like, nah, this is bullshit. You know, you don't agree with everything. That's fine. No, I was kidding. No, it's really, really dope. I'm gonna say hi to people. Hi, Angel. Hi, Justin. Hi, Susan and Julian.
What up, Paulina?
Yeah, and Sophia and Kaylin.
What up, Joy?
Eric and Christina. I'm saying like there's a bunch of the same names. What's up, everybody? No stupid questions, okay?
Yep. Our first question, it looks like Angel is raising her hand. Do you wanna unmute yourself, Angel?
Hey y'all, hi Mike and Anthony. I've been a big fan for a long time. I know y'all gave an explanation on your journey up to this point. So how have your intentions changed from when you first started as dancers? And if so, how do you think your intentions have evolved over time? Thank you.
That's a very complex question.
We got a 5-page essay for that one coming up.
I think, all right. With time, with any relationship, I'll compare this to a relationship, right? Any relationship you have, whether it's with a human or whether it's with an art form or a hobby or anything, like you have like an entire journey with it over time, right? You're never going to be on this exact same frequency forever, right? And so I think in the beginning, just like the beginning of like a relationship or perhaps a romantic relationship, it's with the right find, it's a lot of passion in the beginning, right? And then you build that foundation, you build that history with it, right? And so for us is like, I guess, as you mentioned intention in the beginning, there's like, there's a lot of different intentions. You're trying to, when you're younger, you're trying to impress people. But then when you're younger, there's also this, it's balanced with like, how far can I take this? I have like a lot of dreams and ambitions, right? Which still stay true today. But there's also this idea of like, this is my passion, right? And I think you go through like lows as well, where you question, like, should I still be doing this? Like, where is this all going, right? And then you hit another high, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is why I do this, etc. And then like now, I feel like we're so far along in our journey. I see, I know Ant feels me on this. Like, it's evolved to like, I feel like it's like a marriage over a long period of time where you're like, the love is undeniable. But now when we use the word like curiosity, following your curiosity, now it's more so about like, where I don't think we're at the same level of, again, I'm going to choose my words carefully. I think passion is there, but passion is fleeting, right? Sometimes you're like, wait, why don't I think about this every day the same way that I used to? But if you instead follow curiosity and you find, what about this am I still curious about and do I learn about, and you really search for that, I think that is where you can still find where your true intention lies now, rather than this idea of, this is my identity, I'm good at this, right? So I should do this. And everyone thinks that I do this because I'm the dancer, or I'm the singer person, or people think I'm funny, and like you attach this identity to yourself, right? And I think over time you go through this journey where you're like, that's me, but you're like, is that me anymore? But like, I got to hold on to that because I feel like that's my identity. But then over time you're just like, oh, like I am free to evolve however I want to, but I have this relationship with this thing called dance, and now I think we're at a point where it's like, it's an undeniable part of us, but we're at a different part of the journey where it's like, it's connected intrinsically in everything that we do. But it's more so about finding like, what is the next thing, more than it is that first, like a young passion where we're sessioning every night till 3 a.m. and we're just sweaty. Like, yo, what's like the craziest angle that you could do? You know what I mean? It's like, it's changed.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, I guess one way to describe that manifestation is, I guess, over the years, learning and recognizing that dance, because most of y'all probably know us from our dancing and probably still do, but I think for us internally, understanding and recognizing that dance wasn't necessarily always the destination of how we do things, but it kind of maturing into understanding that dance is more so the vehicle that brought us to different places, that brought us to connect to different people or to different opportunities and stuff like that. So like, you know, nowadays, I think we have a lot more joy understanding that dance may be in the driver's seat, but it's not where we're trying to go. We just happen to be going there with it. And we may end up at noodles, you know what I mean? It just takes us there somehow, and just exercising that curiosity and being down to just kind of like do whatever it is that we feel like that's kind of more the rush and the joy that our intentions are bringing us towards, versus just being like, we're going to try our best to be the illest dancers on the block and always evolutionize the dance culture and the game of the community and stuff like that. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
Cool. Next,
back in the day when we did these like college speaking things, every time we said some shit, people would like clap and stuff, and it made us feel hella good. So now we're on. Oh, thanks, Christina.
Oh, we got Angel.
Yeah, thank you. Forced claps, but I appreciate it. Now it's like.
All right, I do want to mention that at 7:26, we're going to try to begin this sort of lightning round of questions. We'll try to get you guys to sort of answer just off the top of your head, maybe within like the first 10 seconds, whatever comes to the first thing that comes to your mind.
Dangerous.
I suck at those.
That's dangerous.
But before that, it looks like Susan, you got your hand raised. Would you like to unmute and ask your question?
So as a performer, how do you feel more confident in your dance moves and I guess feel less awkward about each move you make?
I'll make this simple and sweet. Repetition breeds confidence. Experience breeds confidence. You have to just do it over and over and make mistakes. That's how you're going to get more confidence, straight up. If you're just in your head and you just strategize in your head, how can I not make that mistake again? It's not going to go anywhere. You just got to do it and keep making the mistakes. And the more you do it, you're like, okay, cool. And you'll find your confidence that way. So you got to keep trying. You got to keep feeling stupid. You got to have those scared moments, and then it normalizes that experience for you.
Normalizes, because the nerves don't go away, but the more experience you get, and when you get to like the level that like, honestly, we've been fortunate enough to get to, if you don't get nervous, maybe the stage isn't worth your presence. Shit.
Thank you so much.
All right, the next question we got Paulina. Would you like to unmute?
Yeah. I'll try to make this as quickly as possible so the next person can go. So huge fan of y'all. I've seen y'all as a part of the Asian community on YouTube in the early 2000s, but we haven't seen many of them kind of break through into the mainstream media like we have now, in a sense. And you've mentioned your experience with MTV, like Asians weren't cute sort of thing. But we've seen the breakthrough in like K-pop, Crazy Rich Asians, Parasite, all those things.
Yeah.
Was there a specific moment or job opportunity for Kinjaz where you felt the tide changing for acceptance in Asians in the mainstream media, aside from World of Dance?
I mean, I wouldn't even say World of Dance is one of those tide changing things like at all. I honestly think it's just a slow progress. I think any sort of major shift is not really from one thing. I think it's like it comes gradually and you see the shift and then there's momentum, but I don't think there's like one strong catalyst, right?
And you're also probably asking uniquely about the Asian American mainstream experience or the American mainstream, because at the same time, you know, we're working on projects or shows in Asia that literally have 1 billion people tuning in because there's more Asian population on this planet than there is anything else. So we're like heavily in the mainstream of other markets that actually have way more viewership than anything in America. But I think it's just important to note that you're referencing American mainstream media.
And I guess like an interesting thing about that is like, we noticed such a difference when for us, there was like a culture, just kind of a tangent, but it's related. When we started doing work in China, And like we were asked to even just do, like, as dumb as it sounds, like just be like the cover of a magazine. That was like new for us because, like, you know, when we're here, we're like this Asian dance crew, even though not all our members are Asian, but yes, predominantly Asian dance crew, and that's how people see us here. But when we go to Asia, we're just a dance crew. And like the opportunities were so different. And we realized, like, man, there's this interesting connection that we have to obviously being Asian, but also like with being American and being detached in a way. There's still this immediate acceptance just off the way we look, and obviously certain things about just our subconscious identity that just immediately click. So going home, or going not home, but going to China,
yeah, going to home to Asia, you know,
it's just interesting that like that was, I wouldn't say it's like a moment of a shift, just a light bulb in our brain that like, yo, every time we go here, there it's like we're treated. There's definitely a different air. And I think now we're starting to feel that. And I think we were just actually doing a presentation for like Red Bull internal for AAPI Heritage Month. And I was just telling them that we are used to doing presentations for like Asian student associations at colleges. But this is the first like major corporation that has brought us in to talk about specifically like our experience and the AAPI experience as like entrepreneurs and creatives. And we're like, that was like this, I don't want to say it's huge thing, but a small like progress of like, yo, this is the first time we're telling our story. We're getting asked to tell our story. And it's like a part of this like Red Bull protocol rather than a Asian student organization protocol.
Which means there's a lot of white people taking notes like, Asian, yes. but yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that's a really just beautiful thing to ponder on during this time frame, because we're in a really, really unique pocket of time for the Asian American experience, right? Yeah, it may be coupled with things like Asian hate and violence, but at the same time, that kind of friction and tension also brings the possibility of moments of just like light shining on our representation in our community in America as well. But that's the beautiful irony, right? Like I said, there's billions of people in Asia that like, you know, recognize who we are, what we do, put us on the pedestal that like, you know, has just been a phenomenal life experience for us that here in America, people wouldn't give us the time of day. You know, we got a chance to sit down and like eat dinner with like Jackie Chan. What's the US comparable Jackie Chan? You know what I'm saying? Like we would never get into that room to have dinner with that person here in America. And, you know, in one way, it's kind of like, you could be like, wait, why? How come we don't get those opportunities? And in another way, we could be like, well, we get that opportunity on the other side of the world that actually technically has a way larger financial sector, has way more people and population. And you know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on how you're choosing to view the experience is all. And I think that's important, or that's been something that we've taken into account when we create our partnerships and our events and our work in general overseas.
Yo, I really like that. It looks like we got time for one last question, and appreciate y'all for sticking around. Julian, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
So hi, first off, Love from Singapore. You guys have been influencing like my old school dance team, like a lot of us. I guess this is a question more for like Sir Anthony, because you mentioned that you started like dance more like at the beginning of college, that stage, right? So it's like, did you like ever find it weird to be starting like dance at such a like a late age in that sense? And if so, like how did it like feel? How did you get past that in that sense? Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally. Actually, maybe it's because when I started dancing in college, social media wasn't huge. So you weren't really like seeing or not seeing examples of it throughout the world. I just was so in a bubble and thought my own experience was my own. It wasn't until later on that I fully recognized that I was in a very, very, very freaking unique opportunity to have, you know, guys like Mike, you know what I mean? People, you know, groups like CADC or Kagamon right on my campus that I was like falling into. So at the end of the day, like every experience or everything that you get like is what you make of it. And I think time is a construct or a factor in people's minds, however they choose to perceive it. Like there's so many people that come up to me insecure about their like dance stage in life that like started dancing at a younger age than I did. So like it's hard to kind of, you know, evaluate what and when is an early or a late time to be a part of something, but only to, I guess, like fall on the value of like understanding how important or how passionate or how curious are you about the thing that it is that you are asking about. Because I started late relative to every other professional that I've ever crossed paths with. But that, to me, I don't think to myself like, yo, if I would have just started earlier, I'd be better than this person, or like that doesn't cross my mind at all. If anything, I only feel like lucky to like be doing what I do, having quote unquote started late. But again, what is late? You know, what is the social norm of something? That's why it's easier for me to kind of relate with people and tell them like, yo, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. If that's what you're about, just go do it. Like the only thing that's for sure is that all of us are going to pass on. You know what I'm saying? We got our one life to live. So like whatever it is that you're into, you got to at least try it. Like there should be no insecurities to trying something, because like nobody's going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do or want to do. It's all up to you to figure it out for yourself. And if you got somebody next to you that can like be a part of the journey and show you the way, or somebody that inspires you, like attach yourself to those people. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're into something and somebody is really, really into it and can show you or offer you something, like your net worth is like your network, right? So it's kind of like you got to really think about who's going to bring joy, value, and love to your ecosystem, and just don't be afraid to attach yourself to those things so that you can continue your journey in a way that's progressive. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Hey, I want to just take this opportunity to just invite my crew that I got here with me today. I just want to say, like, thank y'all so much for coming out to hang out with us. Hearing your perspectives on Asian American identities was really inspiring for me, and I'm sure for the other viewers as well.
Y'all look like
out there. Right. For those out there who don't already know, y'all want to plug your socials so people can find you and follow you?
Instagram.com. All our handles are just Kinjaz, Kinjaz, except for our YouTube. Our YouTube is the Kinjaz.
All right, sick. I think, Susie, is it time to announce the raffle winner?
Hey, thank you all for your questions. Like we spent a bunch of time talking about ourselves, but thank you so much. Just want to throw that out there.
And the winner of the Kinjaz Noodles raffle is Calvin Ton.
Okay.
Oh!
We'll be reaching out to you for that, so wait for us.
All right, cool. Congratulations, Calvin. I believe you should just be watching over your email, and we'll get you some details on how you can get your noodles. Cool. Just want to give well, should we do the photo first?
Yeah, we should do the photo.
Yeah.
So if you don't already have your camera on, make sure it's all on, because we're going to do a group photo with all of us, the Kinjaz, and everyone in the Zoom. And on our side, we actually can't see who doesn't have the camera on. So we'll trust you, or the Kinjaz can just tell us when it's good to go.
Yeah, we're missing Michelle Nguyen and Carrie Lee and Kai Tan Van Vung, if you want to be Vietnamese about it.
Brittany, Sandra, Amy,
Molina's
Henry,
iPhone,
Ella,
Henry Nguyen, that guy who came in late like 4 times.
Amelie,
Amy Vol, Molina again. Come on, y'all.
We're almost there.
Get on.
We'll give you all 10 seconds, and we'll have some of our moderators take a
Oh, this is much better.
Oh, look at
much better.
Oh, we see everybody.
to everyone in our community.
Yeah.
All right, moderators, if you're ready.
Are we the moderators?
No, you guys aren't the moderators.
Okay.
We got special people for this. All right, thank you, Brian and Kenny. And I'd also like to do a lot of thanks for all the people involved in this event. Obviously, we want to thank you, Anthony and Mike, and we want to extend our thanks to Addie Song for being the main contact for us. We want to thank Austin for being the main contact for all of you, Justin and Ihan for being invited to be MCs of this event, Eric Knott for dealing with all the streaming, Susie for all the raffles. We want to thank Brittany Nefsey, who I don't know if she still has a camera off, for being the main contact along with Lynn for Kinjaz and getting all the contracting so this event could be possible. We want to thank Sarah Caldwell Khan. She's the director of the Asian Pacific Cultural Center, the space we're in right now, and for just connecting with us with this space. We also want to thank all of the officers and members from APASU, CSA, Hmong at OSU, and VSA for being involved with this event. And we want to thank Carrie Lee for making the designs. Who else am I missing?
Kinjaz.
Kinjaz. We want to thank you again, Kinjaz, for taking the time out of your day. We know you had a really exciting and busy dance workshop earlier in the day. I tried contacting you guys on Instagram Live, but you ended it too early. Any last words, Justin?
No, man, just thank you again. It was just like such a cool opportunity to be able to connect with y'all and just kind of speak on some real things, you know. I hope that you viewers at home enjoyed the show. And I think that's about all we got for everybody.
Do you guys have any last words?
Just want to say thank you guys. And thanks for just listening to us talk about ourselves for hella long. Hey.
Yeah, and we met in college, and I started dancing in college, and you know we were directing our teams in college, and like half the people in Kinjaz are from our college circle and stuff like that. So just want to say we freaking value our time at college and the people that we met. So getting a chance to come back to different universities and speaking, that there's the formal nuance of needing to do what we got to do and talk and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we know how valuable that time was and how much we love it and we think about it all the time. So we just appreciate all of you for bringing us back to that era in our minds and in our history, and also just really, if we could share some I don't know, advice or whatnot, our opinion, enjoy yourselves, you know what I mean? Don't take life too seriously, but college is one of the best freaking times of your life where you're going to meet some of the illest people that would change your life. So just enjoy that. You deserve it.
Straight up. Hey, it was our pleasure to have you guys. Thank you so much. I think that's all we got. So yeah.
Peace out.
All right, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Music. Buy your noodles or our merchandise. All right, exit before I fucking make a fool out of myself. Get out of here, dude.
And meeting for all.
And meeting for all. Just assign.
All right, this is all we had planned. Justin, you want to end off the meeting before we close it for everyone?
Thanks everybody for coming along. I'm sorry I was hella awkward. It's just so many nerves coming into talking to the Kinjaz and being a fan and everything, but I just appreciate y'all's patience. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed the meeting, and that's about all we had for y'all. So, have a good evening and see y'all later. Peace.
Peace. Peace.